Hey Spooksters! This week we're taking a quick intermission from our Sunday Scary series, and we're doing a feed drop. In this episode we discuss how perpetrators were inspired by fiction, or rather, horror movies. If you like content like this, be sure to join us over on Patreon, where you can get bonus episodes every month for as little as $1. And with that, let's go ahead and get into today's episode.
Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
3 spooked girls. 3 spooked girls. When you wanna hear about the paranormal, you get the spooked girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the 3 spooked girls. Stabby snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you scream along with the spooked girls. Bring on the slaughter. We on that haunted ground. Spooked girls. The 3 spooked girls.
Hey patrons, and welcome back to this month's all-tier episode. My name is Tara, and as always, I'm here with my girlfriend, Jessica.
Hello.
Hello. And today I'm bringing you guys a list from BuzzFeed on horror movies that inspired real crimes. So our first one is Scream. It says the classic 1996 Scream is no exception to this and has inspired many real-life murders. Among the most well-known crimes related to Scream is the murder of 15-year-old Allison Cambier by 24-year-old Thierry Hardin, who repeatedly stabbed her while wearing a ghost face costume. Similarly, a teenager from Idaho, Cassie Jo Stoddard, died at the hands of her classmates Brian Lee Draper and Tori Michael Adamick, attempting to recreate the movie's scenes in real life.
This is like kind of meta, like when you think about it, because like Scream is like based off of the guys in the horror movies base their killings off of like how people in horror movies do shit. Mm-hmm. And then people in real life are basing it off. That's a little meta.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Our next one is a movie. I don't actually like this franchise at all, to be honest with you. I just don't. It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, I don't either.
I think it's because, you know, like in the OGs, he was like a fucking child molester. So
yeah,
I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. He also killed Johnny Depp, and that made me say on.
True. Fun fact, that was Johnny Depp's first movie. Mm-hmm. One of the most infamous cases occurred in 2004 when copycat serial killer Daniel Gonzalez murdered 4 people and attacked 2 others using kitchen knives. Gonzalez went on the spree to experience what it would be like to be Freddy for a day. Eventually, Daniel was put on trial and sent to a maximum security psychiatric facility where he died in 2007.
The fuck?
I have questions. Did he like try to have like a knife hand?
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, that's weird. Ew. Ooh, Child's Play. I can give or take with Child's Play. I kind of want to rewatch them because I know, like, as the Chucky movies have come out, they've been more ridiculous.
They become campy.
Yes. And I love camp.
Yeah, like they started like really horror-y and then they kind of became more campy, which I thought was good. I remember the first time I watched the original one, it was a Sunday afternoon and it was raining. And I was like, the fuck this doll, but because my friend had one of the Chucky dolls.
Oh my God, no. I will not have one in my house. I know it's fake, but I will not. No, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, that's where you got this? She's like, yeah, you didn't know. Mind you, my ass was afraid of Edward Scissorhands, so, you know, I can't really talk about it.
Among the most infamous cases worth mentioning is that of Suzanne Capper, a British teenager who was severely tortured and murdered by a group of young people led by her former babysitter, Jean Powell, Jean's ex-husband, Glenn Powell, and friend Bernadette McNeely. As they carried out their crime, the murderers chanted lines such as "Chucky's coming to play" and other quotes from the movies. Why are people weird?
Not even good weird, like creepy weird.
Yeah. Like psycho weird, bad weird. So our next one is Saw. Fortunately, sometimes things do not turn out exactly as they wanted, and one of these incidences did almost claim somebody's life. The first event was in 2007 when two 13-year-old girls decided to prank call a woman and tell her that one of her friends was locked in her house and that she had 10 minutes to find her before she would be murdered. That's a very severe prank call.
Yeah.
The victim of the prank, Beverly Dixon, panicked so badly that she experienced a massive stroke with lifelong consequences. I feel so bad.
I don't like that. That is so terrible.
Right? And then 2 years later, two teenagers from Salt Lake City attempted to plot a scheme to torture 3 victims. But fortunately, the mother of one of them discovered the plan and reported them to police before it was too late. Good. I get it. It's your kid, but like, obviously they're a freaking psycho. Like, the fuck?
Right? Because I would never feel safe again. What if she found out she was one of the 3?
Could have been. Or it's like, well, if she's like so willing to kill people, like, am I going to wake up with her over my bed with a knife? Like, the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this next one, I don't think I've actually watched this movie, Natural Born Killers. I know what it is, but I don't think I've watched it. It's from 1994, Woody Harrelson and Julia something. She's a fucking Scientologist, so I don't like her. Oh, Juliette Lewis. My bad. So they played a young killer couple who became celebrities and idolized for their crimes. Unfortunately, the premise of the movie prompted a few copycat criminal couples. The most infamous being Sarah Edmondson and Benjamin Darris, who went on a multi-state killing spree that resulted in several deaths and many wounded people. Among them was Patsy Byers, who was permanently paralyzed after being shot in the neck. Due to this, Byers not only sued her 2 attackers, but also Oliver Stone, the film's director, and the film's production company for encouraging violence. However, a few years later, the lawsuits against Stone and the company were dismissed. I think that, like, when people try to do that to, like, the directors, they're not responsible. It's always satire. It's a movie. You know the difference between real and fake. Yeah, exactly. And now I had to pop over to my other list. And this is shout out to Screen Rant. I like Screen Rant. They always have really interesting articles. Mm-hmm. So our next one is actually The Purge, the original movie that came out in 2013. And there was 3 murders. So, after Jonathan Cruz committed robbery and took the lives of 3 individuals in 2016, he cited inspiration from the movie The Purge, which is a film depicting dystopian society with the annual night of lawlessness. While there's been many false news reports relating to events supposedly inspired by The Purge, unfortunately, the case of Indianapolis, Jonathan Cruz is real. Moreover, Cruz's social media activity and statements indicated a disturbing fascination with The Purge, raising questions about the influence of violent media on his behavior. His actions led to discussions about the potential impact of unregulated media on individuals with criminal tendencies. That's something good, I guess.
I think, yes, it's a good conversation, but ultimately, like, you can't know how something will affect someone.
Oh, I meant more like watching, like, known violent people's social media.
Oh, yeah, that definitely. Sorry, I misunderstood that. But yeah, no, I understand, like, there's this whole, like, privacy thing, but, like, if you're kind of, like, on a path of, like, lawlessness and craziness, like, people should be watching you.
Yeah, it's like being on parole or probation.
Yeah. Also, like, that's why we, like, wanted to study serial killers, is so we could prevent the crimes from happening.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, this next one, the picture's creeping me out because the movie is London After Midnight, which came out in 1927. And it's this guy, obviously it's a black and white picture. So it's this guy in like the suit and coat and like the fucking hat, the top hat, but he's got like these razor teeth and he's like making a freaky face. Goodbye.
I'm gonna Google that.
The lost horror movie London After Midnight, which was rebooted as an audio drama, inspired the brutal murder of Julia Mangin by a man named Robert Williams in 1928. After being found by the police with a bloody razor blade near the lifeless corpse of Julia, he was taken into custody. He then pointed to the disturbing face of Lon Chaney's Professor Burke in the 1927 silent horror, oh my god, that makes it even worse, silent horror movie London After Midnight as the root of his disturbing attack on her. This incident points out how real-life crimes inspired by horror movies have been around since the genre's beginning. Hell yeah, 1928, that's so far. Oh my god, that's almost 100 years ago now.
Right?
That is crazy. The next one is, one of the OG horror movies, The Exorcist. So, with this movie, psychologist Dr. Leon Morris cited cinematic trauma as the result as why Patricia Frazier not only killed her own 4-year-old daughter, but also cut out her heart. According to Morris, his interactions with Frazier revealed that she suffered from paranoid schizophrenia and that viewing The Exorcist on TV prompted her to act on her delusions. Notably, after committing the heinous crime, she claimed to have done it in order to save the world from demons and demonic possession.
No, thank you.
The case of Patricia Frazier is far from being the only violently disturbing incident that's linked to one of the most notorious and influential horror movies of all time. Again, it's like, see, this is like, it's such an interesting topic to look into cases that are supposedly inspired crimes, but it's like there's always these other factors that lead up to it as well. So they mentioned like her diagnosis. Was she medicated? Was she seeking treatment? All of that, considering it was in like the 80s, I'm assuming no. So our next one is Warlock, which came out in 1989. After seeing the film Warlock a minimum of 10 times in the days before he committed a ritualistic murder, 14-year-old Sandy Charles claimed to police that he acted on behalf of spirits. Defense attorney Barry Singer said that Charles killed a 7-year-old boy, cut strips of his flesh, and then boiled it into fat in hopes that it would turn him into the son of the devil.
No.
Like, these are scary, and I feel like I haven't heard of these.
Right?
So I was like, oh my God. And our last one for the episode is The Collector, which came out in 1965. I find it interesting, like, how a lot of these movies are pretty old. I think it's interesting because I feel like maybe I live under a rock, but I feel like a lot of these cases I hadn't heard of, and you think we would have heard about it more.
Or you think by when they came out, like media, like the way things travel now.
Oh, so different.
Crimes used to take forever unless they were like, big ass headline cases.
Yeah, this is true. So Robert Berdella, known as the Kansas City Butcher, gained infamy as a serial killer and sex offender in the 1980s. Operating in Kansas City, Bardella targeted young men, subjecting them to extreme acts of torture and violence in his home. His crimes included sexual assault, drugging, and murder. Bardella meticulously documented his sadistic acts in a detailed diary. He was arrested in 1988, convicted of multiple counts of murder, and sentenced to life in prison. While in custody, he explained that he was inspired by the film adaptation of the novel The Collector, which centers around a man kidnapping and torturing a woman. As Bailey Sarian says, get better heroes. Like Jesus fuck. Or role models, whatever the fuck. But, ugh.
Hit better heroes, yeah.
Because there's obviously those ones where it's like it gets sensationalized that, they were inspired by this. But like when they actually admit, like that Freddy one too, it's just chilling and creepy.
That one is especially creepy because it wasn't like, oh, I sat there and like watched this movie over and over again and like I already had this fantasy of like killing someone and this has just inspired me on a way to do it. This is like,
he wanted to be him.
Oh my God, that's a fictional character who has knives as fingers and I want to be him.
Yeah, that's definitely like makes it more disturbing in my opinion. Well, that is going to go ahead and wrap us up for this month's All Tier episode. If you guys know of any other cases that were, I guess, inspired by horror movies or others, let us know. I always like knowing these kind of like fun facts. And with that, I'll go ahead and sign off and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Toodles.